What Are We Waiting For? Battleship Potemkin, 1925. In context. Genre: historical drama. Director: Sergei Eisenstein. Writer: Nina Agatshinova. Stars: Alexander Antonov, Vladimir Barsky, Grigory Alexandrov. Before 1925, Eisenstein's first full-length feature strike tells the story of a 1903 walkout in a Russian factory and the repression of the workers. 1928, Eisenstein's October, 10 Days That Shook the World, uses a documentary style to tell the story of the 1917 October Revolution. 1938, in a more restricted political climate, Einstein retreats to distant history with Alexander Nevsky. Sergei Eisenstein's Battleship Potemkin was commissioned by the Soviet authorities to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the 1905 revolution, when Russian sailors mutinied against their naval commanders and protested in the port of Odessa, now in Ukraine. The result was a movie that revolutionized cinema. 90 years later, it is rare that an action movie does not owe it something. The opening scenes are historically accurate. The cooks did take issue with the maggot-ridden meat, only to be told that it was fit for consumption. The crew's spokesman, Quartermaster Grigory Vakulinchuk, did call for a boycott and was shot. The crew did turn on their superior officers before hoisting a red flag and sailing to Odessa, where there had been ongoing civilian unrest. And Vakulinchuk's body was put on display with the note, "This is the body of Vakulinchuk, killed by the commander for telling the truth." When the sailors reached Odessa, however, Eisenstein's movie veers into propaganda. While it is true that Tsar Nicholas II took action against the striking citizens of Odessa, this did not happen at the Odessa Steps. Now known as the Potemkin Stairs, they were then just the boulevard steps or the giant staircase. The director made full use of the 200 steps to show the Tsar's troops advancing. The crowd celebration with the sailors is cut short by a title card that says simply and suddenly, "The scenes of carnage that follow have lost none of their power. Nobody is safe for the advancing troops, filmed by a low angle and often tightly cropped. For the director, only their rifles needed to be visible. The outraged sailors fire back with their shells before heading off to sea, where they are joined in revolt by other sailors." View it in the same way that a group of artists might view and study a Rubens or a Raphael. David O. Selznick, letter to producer Henry Raff, 1926. In this picture, this was one of the first movie posters by Dutch designer Dolly Rudman. It depicts a closeted soldier with one of his victims at his feet. Its bold futurist style is typical of 1920s posters in Europe. Montage and collision. As a history lesson, Battleship Potemkin took liberties, but factual accuracy was never Eisenstein's concern. It was more important to him to pursue a new cinematic language, which he did by drawing on the experiments in montage pioneered by Soviet movie theorist Lev Kuleshov between 1910 and 1920. For Kuleshov, meaning did not lay not in individual shots, but in the way that the human mind contextualizes them. For example, by using the same image of a man's face, nearly cutting it with a bowl of soup, a coffin, and a woman, Kuleshov could conjure up images of hunger, grief, and desire. Eisenstein's belief in montage, although he preferred to use images in collision with each other, can be shown by statistics alone. At under 80 minutes, Battleship Potemkin consists of 1,346 shorts, when the average movie of the period usually contained around 600. Manipulating emotions. Eisenstein's approach to storytelling still seems radical today. Its juxtaposition of the epic and the intimate virtually rules out the possibility of engaging with the characters on a personal level, and in a way it is indeed perfectly communist. Even Vakulinchuk, the hero and martyr of the piece, is seen only as a symbol of humanity to be contrasted with the face of Tsar's troops. The most famous scene, a baby in a carriage tumbling down the steps, is the ideal symbol of the movie's manipulative grip on our helpless emotions. Sergei Eisenstein. Born in 1898 in Latvia, Sergei Eisenstein started work as a director for theater company Prolet Cult in Moscow in 1920. His interest in visual theory led to the Revolution trilogy of Strike, Battleship, Potemkin, and October. He was invited to Hollywood in 1930, but his projects there stalled. Back in Russia, he found that the political tide had turned against his formalist ideas to more traditional storytelling. He died in 1948, leaving behind just 8 finished movies.